Namaste, beloved goddesses, beloved sisters and brothers. Welcome. My name is Syma, and I am a sacred feminine and spiritual coach, healer, author, and founder of flourishinggoddess.com. I would so love to support you today with some sacred feminine guidance on how you can be more in your sacred feminine energy, because in all the work that I do with my clients, this is one of the starting points. It's one of the first areas that my beloved sisters need support with when they come to me. Usually it's a question around what is the feminine, what is the goddess, how do I connect with my feminine energy. So today I would love to share with you what this can look like in certain parts of your life when you are in that flow of your divine feminine energy. And why is this so important? It's not to say that there's anything wrong with the masculine energy. In fact, we need and have both the divine masculine and the divine feminine within ourselves, no matter what our sex is, and we need them to be in harmony, right? This is the alchemy of the sacred inner union of divine masculine and feminine and all the different ways that these energies are activated inside of us. The reason we want to focus on the feminine right now at this point in our lives and in the world that we're in is because we have been in a very hyper masculine, even like what I tend to call the shadow masculine or the wounded masculine. And this hasn't served us as women, it hasn't served our men. And again, no matter what our gender or sex is, right? We need to have this sacred balance in our lives. And especially those of us who are women, because we have been conditioned to be in such excessive masculine energy, we're really paying a price for this. So in my practice, when my clients come to me, they're usually experiencing a lot of frustration and blocks, and I'll share a little bit about how this can show up, especially how it connects with the different energies. And I'm also going to share with you some specific goddesses, as I love to always share, to give you some examples a little more tangible on which goddesses you might want to work with and how this can flow for you, how this can benefit and serve you, right? So when we are in excessive hyper masculine energy, whether we're men or women, we can just be going, striving, but it's the action is very like strife focused. It's just very effortful. It's the hustle, right? And it just doesn't stop. There's no time to pause, to rest, to reflect, to renew, to replenish. It's just go. And that can really lead to burnout. It can lead to just a lot of blocks, even if we're trying to manifest and do some more spiritual practices to attract the things that we want. It's hard to attract things, which is a really feminine way, when we are going and doing and pushing, even with spiritual practices, right? So if we're visualizing too much or meditating too hard or affirming all the time, that's still an excess of action. And we want to instead be in a balance of our divine masculine energy, and that sometimes, again, as women, don't have enough of the divine masculine. So this can be about setting boundaries, learning how to say no, standing in our power, really affirming and asserting ourselves. So we really do need and benefit from the gifts of the divine masculine, the will, focused energy, that kind of generative vitality and creativity. So there's so many gifts of the divine masculine as well that we would really benefit from cultivating instead of being in that shadow and excess masculine. And then when we're talking about the feminine, we can be sometimes, especially those of us women who are highly sensitive and spiritual and soulful or empaths, we can be so good at the giving, nurturing, supporting, caring, tending, healing even others, right? And in our relationships. But then sometimes this can lead to us getting out of balance and having trouble with the other part of the sacred feminine, which is to receive, to magnetize, to be in flow instead of that struggle and effort, to be in a state of grace and surrender and inspiration. So those are the gifts of the feminine among so many. Just want to be very clear that each of these, the divine and the shadow aspect, have many more aspects to them. So I'm just giving a very basic high level 101 for you. So you can just maybe reflect on where you might be in excess, where you might need to cultivate more of either one of these energies. And then to get specific about maybe different parts of your life that you can reflect on to see if you're needing some more feminine flow. I would love to start with an area that I tend to get so many clients coming to me for support with, which is love. So when it comes to love, our goddess here is Aphrodite. Aphrodite is the Greek goddess of love, right? And she's just one archetype of the divine feminine that represents love, self-love, divine love, and especially romantic love, sexual love. But there are goddesses from so many other cultures. I'm just choosing ones that maybe are a little more known. And with Aphrodite, let's say you're looking for love. When you are in excessive masculine energy, looking for love, your soulmate, like I said earlier, you might just, even if you're doing spiritual practices, maybe you're meditating and visualizing your soulmate, but if it's too much, that's excessive. That's effort. That's not coming from a place of joy and inspiration, but perhaps desperation and lack. And so when we're coming from that place, then we perpetuate more of that in our lives. Whereas Aphrodite reminds you to be in the feminine, to get into the embodiment of love, beauty, sensuality, laughter, radiance, joy. These are her gifts, dancing, being so embodied in your sensuality, because when you tap into that power, especially if you're a woman, looking for a male partner, then that energy is so beautifully attractive, right, to the opposite. It's that polar energy that's just such, the opposites attract, right? So our energies become so attractive and magnetic to each other. And the masculine feels inspired to be in its divine energy of, reaching for you, and it's turned on by the divine feminine, by the flow, right? So it wants to pursue, so you're calling it in. If we want to think even about love making, right? Our wombs, our yonis are the receptive vessel for the divine masculine lingam to enter us. So we call in the divine masculine when we radiate and embody the goddess. So this doesn't mean that don't do things to find your beloved. If you feel called to do online dating, or get a matchmaker, or whatever typical or general advice people tend to give. But honestly, when I work with my clients on my Manifest Soulmate Love program, for example, we don't even go there, because the whole focus is on awakening the Aphrodite within you. It's alchemical, it's inner, it's spiritual. So you call in your beloved like magic. So this is one way you may want to consider when it comes to not only romantic love, but your relationships. Are you searching, looking, trying, efforting to make something happen, to find that balance, that fulfillment, that companionship, the joy that you deserve and that you wish to receive, which can create some struggle around that area? Or can you consider how you might awaken Aphrodite, the goddess of love inside of you, which first and foremost will center you in your own divine self-love. And when you are rooted and emanating that self-love connected to your sacredness, right? Knowing that you are enough, you attract love in so many forms into your life, including romantic just being one form, right? It's guaranteed, it's going to happen because you are being a goddess of love. So this is how Aphrodite invites us to be more in love and call in more love and attract more love into our lives by being love, right? Instead of trying to go get it and find it coming from a place of lack or need. So that's just one area I find my clients struggle a lot in. So I hope that helps you if you're desiring more love in your life. Then, oh, by the way, for the goddesses I'm sharing, if you want to go deeper with them, some of them I talk about in my book, Goddess Reclaimed, for love specifically, my book, Manifest Soulmate Love. But I also have online circles at flourishinggoddessschool.com where you can deepen into embodied practices and meditations and rituals and teachings with each of the goddesses. Okay, my loves? All right, so next we have Lakshmi. So another area I help a lot of my clients with, and most of us tend to need some healing work around sometimes, and more feminine energy, is Lakshmi, which is our material good, our abundance, our success, prosperity, fulfillment in our careers and the work that we do in the world and how we serve, getting paid and supported to share our gifts and live passionately doing what we love, right? And we are here to do that. We are here to do what we love and prosper and share our gifts from a place of joy and service and generosity. So sometimes when we're in the excess masculine energy, what can happen is we are very just goal-oriented, and we have the steps, and we take the steps, whether our society told us to do that, or our parents, or our culture, or just we got the idea in our head. When we are too much in that masculine energy, it's just achieving. You have to know the entire plan. Like, there's no trust in inspiration and synchronicity. You have to figure everything out and have the plan, and it can just take a lot of the juice and the fun and the joy and the spontaneity and the inspiration. It can make things really mundane or boring, and like you're just striving and achieving and struggling and just going at it with. And the process in itself can be very not fun, to the point where when you maybe achieve that goal, you're just burnt out, or you get there and you realize, I'm not happy, right? And it's really something to consider. As I'm making this video, we've had so tragically 2 really high profile celebrity deaths by suicide. And these 2 people were so blessed and successful in their lives. They were, at the pinnacle of success in our world, and yet, they experienced deep depression. And so may God bless their souls and bring them the peace that they were longing for and needed, my loves. But no matter what we can achieve on the outside, it does not guarantee our happiness, our fulfillment, contentment, right? So we really want to reflect on not only the things we want, the things we think we want, but why do we want them? And even if we're in the process of achieving them, or we have achieved them, when we get there, we want to make sure that we are really connecting to something deeper and asking ourselves, is this really making me happy? Is this the meaning of my life that I want for myself, right? So Lakshmi, my loves, reminds us that the source of true happiness and fulfillment is inside. Lakshmi resides inside of you, right? As the goddess, or the divine source, the divine feminine source of infinite bliss, contentment, beauty as well. She's, connected to Aphrodite in that way, and abundance of all good, but it's not just material good. In fact, with Lakshmi, the material is a reflection of the spiritual riches that when we cultivate those, they manifest into physical form so beautifully, to mirror rather than to compensate for a lack of something that might be, we're looking for, that we're not yet connected to on the inside, right? So Lakshmi is who we want to invite and connect with and cultivate inside of us, so that we're in this flow of co-creating our dreams into being, specifically around abundance, security, success, work, career, our businesses, sustenance, support, these material and physical worldly dreams coming true from a place of inner Lakshmi, inspiration, joy, grace, dharma, right action, sacred desire, your heart and soul's desires. So it's really coming from that deep, beautiful, divine place inside of you. And that is what it means then to be more in the feminine, and then you take that inspired action with the marriage of the divine masculine. Okay, my loves? All right, so then I want to talk a little bit about our spirituality and how we might want to bring in more feminine energy there. So I have here the goddess Isis. You can see her also behind me, her beautiful statue over there. And Isis is the ultimate high priestess guy. She's the goddess of 10,000 names, really meaning that she is the all goddess. But one area she particularly can help us with is our spirituality. So with the masculine, for example, masculine spirituality, the approach tends to be more linear, right? It's upward. It's like achieving nirvana or enlightenment or self-liberation, and, you know, achieving or entering heaven, you know, the stairway up to heaven, right? So it's step by step. And again, that's beautiful. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, right? It's just the divine masculine approach to oneness with God. And the goddess, Isis, she brings the divine into the physical. She helps to bring heaven on earth, and especially as womb men, with wombs, as women, we have that sacred gift as priestesses to be the vessels for the divine on earth, to give birth like Mother Mary even does, right? She births Christ into being. So we are the vessels to birth the divine into being. And Isis reminds us how we can bring the feminine into our spirituality and also heal ourselves. So, for example, if the masculine, one practice of the divine masculine is mindfulness meditation, or that we may get from the, the Buddhist tradition. And Isis will bring in the feminine, which is the incense and the bells maybe, or the mala, or the Sanskrit, the mantras, the visualizations, essential oils, ritual, and ceremony. She makes you experiencing the divine very, very embodied and physical. And I know that for those of us who are women especially, we can really struggle with mindfulness meditation and just quietening all our thoughts, because we are so complex and multidimensional. So we feel things, right? We're really deeply feeling creatures, and especially that our intuition isn't just here, which is like the very masculine. It's also down here in our hearts and down to our wombs, the base of the spine, the coiled serpent, the kundalini shakti at the base of our spine. So Isis brings us spiritual practices that will unleash the coiled serpent, the kundalini shakti, the divine feminine life force, and bring it up through the chakras, through our energy bodies, but reminds us that each of those chakras, each part of our life on earth is sacred and deserves to be balanced. So she can help us to bring that feminine into our spirituality as well as our healing. Isis reminds us that we're not trying to overcome or denounce, definitely not trying to denounce what it means to be human, and the physical and the earthly. And she, in fact, invites us to embrace all of ourselves, embrace every part of ourselves as sacred. If there's a part of us that is, some spiritual practices might call it ego, right? Or fear. She doesn't tell us to get rid of it. She wants us to face it and to heal it with unconditional compassion, self-compassion. I've made another video on self-compassion for sensitive souls, if that's something you want. But, right, she brings us back to healing through love and facing all these parts of ourselves instead of trying to bypass them or run away from them or stuff them down. In fact, that's what can create disease and neurosis and psychological, physical, emotional, energetic discord, dis-ease. So Isis is really there to help us to delve right into all of it. That is the feminine. We're not afraid of the dark. We're not afraid. In fact, we embrace our full humanity and all of it as sacred, right? Equally important. There's so much more I could say about each of these goddesses, each of these aspects. That's why I have circles for each of them. But honestly, even my online circles, which you do once a month, I could spend a whole year focused on one of these goddesses, because they each have so many sacred feminine gifts to share with us. Okay, finally, we have a Roman goddess, Juno. So Juno is the queen goddess, the ultimate, queen of heaven. Her counterpart Greek is Hera. And Juno is us truly being in our sovereign, regal feminine power, right? To be the queens in our lives. So she also helps us to balance the shadow masculine. She's married to Jupiter. Jupiter, you know, represents both the divine masculine and the shadow masculine. He cheated on her a lot, right? So there's a lot of healing that we need to do around the wounded and the shadow masculine. So Juno really helps us to heal wherever we are out of balance with the masculine, wherever we have felt betrayed by the masculine, and to reintegrate the divine masculine back into our lives with love and with compassion. And she's also a very powerful ally for us women. She used to actually be associated with lunar cycles, but then later that association faded a little bit. But I feel her presence as still a lunar goddess, and so she reminds us to be in our feminine energy through cycles. Her and Hera also, you know, bring the change of the seasons. So seasons, cycles, the moon. She presides over all the aspects of every part of being a woman. You know, coming into our maidenhood, becoming mothers, marriage. Definitely, she's actually a patron goddess of marriage and women. So the marriage isn't just with our soulmate, but it's first and foremost the inner marriage. Okay, and so she can really help us to have this alchemy, this union, this harmony of the divine feminine and masculine within ourselves, and then in our relationships and in our lives. So she's a very, very important goddess to help us be in that flow of our feminine energy, our cyclical nature, every milestone of our lives, and then how to really sit with that with regal grace and empowerment, where we can even be leaders, right, for other women and other sisters and in our communities and in the world. And the world really, really needs us to step into our sacred feminine power and leadership as goddesses. Okay, my love. So this is my guidance for you, my invitation for you. Like I said, you guys can join me on flourishinggoddess.com to go deeper. I have a free meditation where I take you with the goddesses through the chakra. So just to clear your energy there, bring more feminine energy into your life. And I have a free video training. I will also leave links for you for each of the circles that I have for the goddesses. The Juno one is actually still coming up, depending on when you watch this, but the replays are always available afterwards. So yeah, if you want just to get a healing and initiation with these goddesses, I would love to support you with that. But just come enter the world, enter the temple, and there's just so many more resources I can share with you for free at flourishinggoddess.com. And if you want the circles, they are at flourishinggoddessschool.com, and there's many more goddesses there that you can deepen into. So my loves, I hope this supported you. I would love to hear in your comments perhaps which of these areas you find you are maybe in excess masculine, like just trying and pushing and achieving, and maybe have neglected or been out of balance with the feminine. And perhaps after learning a little bit more about just these few handful goddesses, where you feel inspired to cultivate and call in and flow with your feminine energy a little more. I so love reading your comments, right? And if you have any requests around the goddess, the sacred feminine, please leave them, because all the videos I make are for you. They're to serve you. So if you tell me what you want and if it's something I can help you with, it would be my honor to support you. Okay, my loves? So thank you so much. Thank you for liking and subscribing and sharing, and just for this honor of serving you. I'm sending you all my love. Namaste.